Good evening, good night, and good morning, wherever you are across the world. We're here for round 3 of our MX-5 Miata Cup series here on Trackalicious. We have, it looks like 14 cars on our grid today for a combined, I think that would be 52 cylinders. Math was never my strong suit. So we do have some new faces along with some old faces, such as Eric Gukasian and T. Smith. So we're going around for two 20-minute races here at VIR North, and we should have some incredibly close battling looking on the leaderboard times here in our open practice. We are about 5 minutes away from our qualifying session today, and we're going to have a look forward to the upcoming events within this season. As always, you can find all of those events and any more information on our Discord, as well as in our SimGrid series or league profile. You can find that at www.thesimgrid.com/community/Trackalicious. So we have about 2 minutes left here in practice session. We can take any questions, and yes, we do finally have Miatas here on the channel. Some of the best close racing that iRacing provides, and we're looking forward to probably about an hour of great driving content here today. We're going to go ahead, give you some trackside views here for the last couple minutes here before we head into qualifying. All right, it looks like we're heading into qualifying here. It'll be interesting to see if Jace Wright's half-second lead over the rest of the field is purely down to pace, or if he happened to be running on quali fuel against everyone else's race fuel. We're going to get going here momentarily. We should see cars on track here at any minute. All right, it looks like we have cars rolling in the pits, and Tyler Smith is one of our first drivers out in the Ohio Against the World car. Now, normally we have a pair of them, but unfortunately, one of our iRacing staff members could not make it today, so we will not see the Battle of the Great Ohio's this afternoon. So they're headed down through the fast, not so technical part of Sector 1 as we start the run up towards where they will diverge from the main Grand Prix circuit and head down the infield Patriot circuit for Sector 2. One of the most technical, one of the most technical portions of a circuit here on the iRacing platform. Apologies, I bit my tongue there. We're going to head on board to see the that technical twisty bit here in the Patriot course, because it is difficult to get a exact understanding of the elevation changes and how blind some of these corners are. As I rejoin the track here in what is Sector 3 for the downhill roller coaster portion of the circuit, they will have come down to a couple blind corners over crests, heading into a near 180 degree turn back to the run up towards the start finish line. Going to go back here to our trackside views, and we'll give a spectate to Mr. Tyler Smith here for his first flying lap. The data you'll be seeing here in your leaderboard at this moment is not representative of the driver's paces, as they do include the portion of the lap that was done under pit speed limiters. So people will be building their gaps, they'll be warming their tires, they'll be setting their car up for these next couple push laps here. We have 15 cars registered in the session right now, Mr. Hansen. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, the flu's been going around really bad today. All right, it looks like Tyler Smith is heading down through the roller coaster to finish his first flying lap. We'll see what he has to say for himself here as he comes across the line in a couple seconds. It looks like he's going to set the pace here with a jump this gun a little bit here. He's going to set the pace with a 138.8. So we'll go on board with Jace to see if he can put up a similar pace here, as he did push a little bit in that practice session. So and don't forget that we do have channel rewards enabled. So if you want to see an onboard lap, if you want to see my wonderful face, and if you want to look at someone's livery, feel free to use those channel points and those redeems. All right, it looks like Jace Wright goes to the top with a 137.0. Looks like Desjardins is on a pretty good lap. We'll go ahead and hop next to him, as it looks like he's going down through the roller coaster at this moment. He's got a little bit of a draft here from the car ahead. As they run down to the line, he's going to be getting significantly less drag by having that car in front of him. I will absolutely have a drink there, Alex. Looks like he doesn't quite improve, actually. So that last sector must have had a small mistake there. It happens. We still got 4 minutes to go. That's a couple laps here in the MX-5s. Go on board with Dave Thompson here, heading down through that roller coaster as well. It looks like everyone's starting to improve. The track is definitely starting to speed up here as the rubber gets laid down. And that is a car off track. Oh, Dave Thompson just goes for a spin and manages to miss the wall. We go back live here with Mr. Kevin Bolland. Yeah, there's still a few cars that haven't set a official lap here on the track, so it'll be interesting to see what Mr. Eric is doing, or if this is a planned thing to sort of get some experience with passing other cars. We're down into probably the last 2 laps here for most people's qualifying. Remember, if you do cross the line, you are allowed to finish your lap. So people will be pushing to try to get as much drive time here as they can, as it looks like Tom Salmon has improved over Tyler Smith. Jace Wright still out there absolutely dominating the timing tower right now. It'll be interesting to see if anyone is able to build up the pace to challenge him here in this qualifying session. And remember, everything... Oh, as he loses the rear and spins, is he going to collect it? He does tap the wall, but it looks like the car is okay. Continues out onto the track. No cars around to really impede, so nothing doing there. We're going to hop over to our 3rd place driver right now, Sam Warden. Now 2nd place as he improves. So we have about a half-second gap all the way between 2nd and 6th right now, as it looks like Sam is going to call it a day. So hop on board with Devin. Haven't seen him on the stream yet today, with a beautiful retro wave inspired paint as they head up into the Patriot section of the course. Remember, a lot of these corners are blind, so in the race, drivers will have to take care while battling to make sure they don't accidentally rear end someone or shove someone a little bit wide coming off the curbing. It looks like we have had another incident on track. We're going to go take a look at that. It is Ohio. Oh, and it looks like he's just pulling off to call it a day on his qualifying. We'll go back live with Randy Gross, who is in the pits, but it is another beautiful design. Jeff Frank's running out with the Not Alone car. Personally, a big fan of Not Alone and the foundational work that they do. It looks like he loses the rear a little bit, catches it, heads off into the grass there. MX-5 all day. We should not have a password if you are registered in the league. Nope. This is a league we host every Sunday. And feel free to register at on our SimGrid League profile. It's just Trackalicious, all caps. So, looks like we're coming down to the waning days of qualifying here. See if anyone is still pushing for a lap. Oh, and we are done. So it looks like our starting grid is going to be Jace Wright from Sam Warden on the first row, followed by Zaki Sheik and Davin Sturdivant in row 2. Kevin Ballin's going to head up row 3 from Randy Gross. Looks like Tom Salmon and Tyler Smith are going to be in the next row. Very close times here in the midfield, so it'll be interesting to see how the opening starts here. Desjardins and Franks starting side by side, followed by Colin Smith and Dave G. Thompson. Now, Dave G. Thompson has stolen the paint I used for the MX-5, so I think I'll be rooting for him today. We'll have Matthew Ogliv and Eric Gakazian, who are coming up at the rear for do not qualifying. And on our final row, all by himself, it's going to be Genski. So they are starting to grid up. We will go take a look at the leaders for the start here. See if I can get a decent camera. There we go. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This is a standing start, and these cars do like to go as soon as you start to let off on that clutch. So, and we are green here. We're going to start rolling. It looks like everyone gets away relatively well. We do have a position change as Colin Smith. Seems like he bogged down a little bit here at the start as everyone's going by. Looks like he's going to go to the back. He's going to have a lot of work to do here in the opening stages of the race. We're going to hop on board back to the front as we have everyone 2 by 2 going through the first 2 corners here at VIR. And we may even have some 3-wide action in the back there. And he backs out of it, thinks better of it. Going down into turn 4. A little bit of a dive, backs out of it once again to avoid that contact this early in the race. You don't want to ruin your 20-minute race here already. Have a battle going on down here for 10th, and it is going to be between Genski, Franks, and Ogliv. Some beautiful MX-5s here. Sounds like a pack of angry hornets coming down this run up through the S's. They start to head out into Sector 2. Still very close racing. 2 by 2 down into the Patriot portion of the course. Everyone driving very respectfully, keeping their nose clean here in the opening stages of this race. Right, looks like everyone's starting to file out one by one here as we start to settle into our rhythms here as we try to bring the tires in, bring the cars up to temp before we start making some moves down towards the middle part of this race. MX-5 for the most part, it's every Sunday. We do have a couple off weeks this season. You can see our schedules in the SimGrid community profile, and we will also, in our intermission between the races, we will have a full schedule of all the series we are operating this season. Going to go on board with Mr. Genski here as he starts to make a move down the outside here. This starts to pinch a little bit as they turn in. It looks like he's made that move quite well. And we've had an incident there. Daniel Desjardins goes off track. Let's see what happened there. Rear starts to come around, saves it, and little tight. Be careful on your rejoins, folks, but he keeps it clean and loses some positions, but everyone's all right. We still have quite a lot of racing here as we go back live with Zaki Sheik. Battling here for the second position with Kevin Bolland as they run down towards Sector 2. About a 3/10, 4/10 gap here. And you do really this early in the season, and not everything is set, so you want to get all the points you can. Even with our drop rounds, you don't want to use that cushion halfway through the season. You want to keep all that in check until you can get to the end so you can drop anything that might come in the coming season. Eric has actually moved up a couple positions. We'll go on board per request. Kind of out on his own in clean air. Going to be hitting his marks, getting his car up to temp, and getting that consistency built as we run down through the roller coaster section. Arguably the most difficult part of the section in MX-5 due to the way the MX-5 throws its weight around. We'll move forward through the field to Tom Salmon battling with Jeff Franks here to try to take P7. A little bit of a poor run coming out of the final corner onto the front straight, but that's not something that's a death sentence here at VIR, as this track is entirely about your momentum and how well you can handle the weight transferring over the hills. Thank you, One Bigly, for the $5. We really appreciate it here at Tracklicious. It helps keep us running. And it is unfortunate that you missed the race. I wish iRacing would let us expand the sign-up window so we could get you in for race 2, but unfortunately we have to work with the tools we're given, as Daniel Desjardins is battling for P9 with Tyler Smith. A little bit of contact, and he goes around into the wall, and that's going to be a broken drive shaft. He's probably going to have to tow here, or that car's going to be incredibly unstable trying to return to the pits. We'll move forward to car number 42, Matthew Ogilvie, as they start to head down into the Patriot section of the course. Looks like he's looking a little bit of front end damage there. So on Tyler Smith's car. So he's going to be parachuting a bit down those straight sections of the track. Move on forward to Kyle Genske in a 4-way battle for third here. Actually, that may be for second. Yeah, that is for second, with Kevin Ballin leading this train. As they start to head down towards the line, everyone's kind of following each other right now, trying to get that little bit of fuel saving so they have more to push with, as there's a bit of a run coming from behind from Kyle Genske. Is he going to push it alongside into turn 1? It looks like he's looking. He's going to try to outbrake him. Let's see if he gets it down through the inside and hits his apex, and it looks like that is job done for Mr. Genske here, moving up one position into P4 as I start to run down towards the technical bit of Sector 1. We do have some additional battling down with Eric, Tyler Smith, and Sam Warden. Looks like this is the battle for 11th as they come into turn 1. Everyone pushing closer and closer together as Tyler Smith tries to mitigate that damage and tries to recover from that earlier incident. A little bit. Oh, there's a look inside from the number 1 car of Sam Warden. Gets that job done pretty part and parcel there as he's looking to size up a move on the damaged car of Tyler Smith. As I come down to one of the longer straights here on the track out of this S section, that damage is really going to become prevalent as these cars, while they are powerful for their size, the aerodynamics do parachute out pretty bad when you're only pushing about 200 horsepower. We'll go back up on board with that battle for third. Still as close as ever, as it has been through this race. Kevin Ballin's still leading the pack here in second. Small gap starting to form, but it seems like it closes up every time I look away. Devin Sturtevant is starting to look to try to close in here as well. As they are side by side running down the straight here, it gets blocked in behind Kevin. Gives him a little bump, little push, dents in the front nose a little bit. That's not ideal when you're pushing. It's going to hurt you a little bit down the straight if you happen to be running out in clean air. Manages to keep the position, but is he going to get cut back under here in turn 2? No, but he is going to push it inside of Kevin Ballin. This is the battle for second you're watching here, folks. J-Mark Colin Smith had an incident earlier, and it looks like he managed to find the wall and is currently in the pit lane. All right, looks like that battle has settled down a little bit. We'll move backward to Kevin Ballin. A little bit of a battle going on here for P3 still. This is kind of the ones to watch here. These guys were all within a couple tenths here in qualifying and practice. So they're giving us some excellent racing here as they head up through the Patriot section of the course. Single file here, you don't really have a lot of room to maneuver here side by side, so probably the smartest thing to do about midway through this race here today. Remember, we will be following this initial race up with a second feature race with a grid settled by the finishing position of this first race. So you want to be up as far as you can to secure that hole shot into turn 1. Looks like we're going to go back to the battle for P7 between Jeff Franks, Tom Salmon, and Matthew Ogilev. As they are coming down through the roller coaster, they're about a 3/10 to a half second from each other. Heading down to the start-finish line. Looks like Tom Salmon's going to get a run here on Jeff Franks and get the move done. It looks like Matthew's going to try to follow him through. We'll see if he gets that done before turn 1 or if he gets boxed in behind Tom Salmon. Looks like he's maybe able to send it up the inside of them both under braking. And he does. He gets the move done and hits his apex, hits his marks. And that is a very efficient sector there for the number 42 car, Matthew Ogilev. Now it does look like Tom Salmon is coming back at him with a small run there through the technical twisties of sector 1. Backs out of it a little bit, gets a poor acceleration run. Now, being the middle of a 3-car battle is one of the most difficult positions that you can have as a race driver, as you have to defend while you're trying to set up an attack as well. And it looks like that defense part is going to become key as Jeff Frank starts to gain more and more ground coming through the twisties here. Thank you, Hank CCR, for the follow. As they're side-by-side heading into the entry to the Patriot portion of the circuit, still side-by-side. As they come through the technical parts, a little wide there. And Jeff Franks backs out of it, concedes the place back to Tom Salmon, and starts to fall back a little bit. We're going to go on board with Eric per request, as he's still trying to chase down Tyler Smith up through the Patriot portion of this track. Remember, Tyler Smith does have that front end damage that's going to be slowing him down pretty significantly down through the straights, especially the one that we have in sectors 1 and 3. He keeps coming down through those technical twisties, continuing to gain down through the roller coaster. Still gaining, not as quick as he was through the technical bits of Patriot, but still there. He's about 5/10 off. We'll see if he's able to get him down in the run up to turn 1 with that aero advantage that he currently has. Almost every lap Eric's had, he's gone faster, Alex. And he does get that job done down the straight. Tyler Smith doesn't contest it a whole lot, knows he has that damage, and Eric's going to sail on by. We'll go back up to our battle for 4th between Kevin Bolland and Davin Sturdivant. Everyone keeping it relatively clean. I don't have many incidents to show you guys so far as we start to come down into our final 10 minutes of this race. Follow each other through the technical bits of the Patriot section of the course. All these blind corners, very, very throwy is the word I'm going to use in those corners. The Miata is all about weight transfer and maintaining that momentum through the slower portions of the track, which becomes key in this 3rd sector, as it's very easy to unsettle the rear of the car and start to have to chase it across the track and possibly into the grass. It looks like Jace Wright is starting to lose time to Kyle Genske, as we may have a battle for the lead starting to form here. We're down to within half a second heading into turn 1. Genske looks like he has a significant advantage in the straight line there over Jace Wright, but Jace Wright's able to eke that bit more out of the braking zones as he starts to chase him, still closing down through sector 1. We do have a change in position for P4. That's Kevin Bolland ceding to Davin Sturdivant. As it looks like we may have had an incident, we're going to hop on board to that replay cam and see what happened with Kevin Bolland. Oh, a little bit of right quarter contact. Everyone looks like they locked together. There shouldn't be too much damage on either of those cars as we hop back live here on board with Tom Salmon. Starting to run through the S's. A little bit of a train starting to form up here again as a result of that incident between Kevin Bolland and Davin Sturdivant. Both cars still studying their average pace, so no damage, nothing doing there. Hop back on board with that lead battle as it's becoming ever closer over the last lap. As they continue their run down the roller coaster down towards the start-finish straight. He gets an amazing run coming out of the final circuit as Jace Wright catches a little bit of grass. It looks like he's going to be forced to the outside which is the less than ideal line into this corner. However, if you hit your marks right, you can double apex it and get a phenomenal launch out of the inside of the second apex. And he tries to do just that. He does make it alongside, pushes the nose in as they run up towards one of the tightest corners of the track. It's a small apex leading into a very tight braking zone as they're still side by side, pushes out onto the AstroTurf, a little bit in the grass. That's going to cost them some acceleration. Still side by side, coming into the ramp to the SS, backs out of it a little bit, trying to get the better launch, but it looks like the rear tries to come around on him, cost him a little bit in acceleration. However, he manages to regain the car and manages to maintain traction through that corner, even with the loose wheel, and he starts to come on alongside, going into the entry to the Patriot circuit of the course. Backs out of it a little bit, just looks like he's going to follow through here through the S's here in Patriot. One of the smarter things to do here, as again, there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver 2x2 here through these tight, twisty S's at the top of this hill. Looks like we may have had an incident with Tom Salmon. We'll go ahead and take a look at our replay cam. Sorry to cut away from this battle. Oh, car gets spun and nowhere to go. Just destroys the front end of that car. Unfortunate for both drivers involved. Daniel Desjardins looks like maybe done for this first race. Go back to our lead battle as we have a change for the lead. Genski on right as it comes back at him, heading down into the roller coaster. Or no, this would be turn one, actually. Excuse me. Still battling, still side by side. This is almost an exact mirror of what we saw in the last lap. As they head down to that tight apex, he cuts in behind him, tries to get the run, but there's a car there. You can't really accelerate through him. Push down into the S's. Still nose to tail here, coming down into the S's proper. And not a lot of room to make a side-by-side pass here either, just by the nature of having very little aerodynamic efficiency in these cars. He comes alongside, heading into the run-up to the Patriot entrance. Side-by-side, backs out of it a little bit, doesn't quite get the braking performance he was hoping for, and once again, pushes it alongside down through the S's of Patriot, starts to lose out a little bit, but gains it back on the next apex, and he'll lose on this apex and gain on the next one. A lot of give and take going on here. It falls in behind the car of Jace Wright and just follows him through the final bit of the Patriot section. Headed down to the roller coaster, you can see the difference in the way these cars are set up. It looks like the number 10 car of Jace Wright is set up a little bit better under braking, while Kyle Genski, even with that small amount of front end damage he has, is able to just pull down through the straights here. As Tom Salmon enters the pits to take a look at the front end of his car and probably get it ready for race 2 here. As we're side by side once again, Jace Wright defending the inside down the front straight, heading down into turn 1 and 2. Looks like he's a little bit further behind this lap, so it'll be interesting to see how this dynamic plays out down through the rest of Sector 1. Does the exact same cutback move like he has on the last 2 laps. See if he gets an even better runoff this time and is able to get that pass done and dusted before they make it to the S's. It really seems like he has to be ahead as they enter the S's for him to make this move by the time he's able to defend in Patriot. Still side by side, it looks like he has done just that. He's made it ahead into the S's. We'll see if he's able to defend through the S's and through that braking zone that it looks like Jace Wright has had that advantage on all race. And he sends it to the inside, tries to outbrake him. Who's going to make the corner best? And it looks like Jace Wright. Like I said, that braking performance is insane on that 10 car compared to that 505 car. They follow each other through the Patriot S's at the top of the hill. And as they settle themselves out for the last couple minutes, we're going to take a look through the field here. It looks like we have this battle going on here. Zaki Sheik in P3, Randy Gross in P4, battling with Davin Sturdivant. And it looks like we have about a 4/10 gap there. Matthew Ogiliv in 6th from Jeff Franks, Sam Warden, Dave G. Thompson, and Eric round out your top 10. Go back on board with that lead battle as it looks like they're going to set up side by side once again into turn 1. Same exact dynamic as we've seen the past couple excuse me, the last couple laps. Running down, the 10 car just outbreaks the 505. We'll see if he makes that cutback work once again, and it looks like he will as they start to run down towards the entry to the technical bit of Sector 1. That battle with Devin Sturdivant and Randy Gross is closed up, and it starts to ebb a little bit again. So we'll see what goes on there, as it looks like Devin has made the pass. They are side by side in turn 1. This looks like a carbon copy of that battle for the lead that we have going on. They're still side by side, heading into the double apex, leading into the S's. It tries to turn and thinks better of it as the car's still there. Almost loses the rear on that weight transfer, and it looks like that's going to be job done for Randy Gross over Devin Sturdivant. And Devin Sturdivant's going to have to watch out for Matthew Oglev coming up right behind him with what looks like a great run as a result of that little twitch. We're down to our final minute. We're going to go on board with the leaders as they continue to battle, going through the Patriot section a little bit less, as it actually looks like Genski has made the move here in the last lap. Lap traffic in the way. We'll see how this plays out with this lead battle being as intense as it has been. It is possible that the lap traffic here could play a foil. It looks like he does manage to put the lap car between the two of them as we come down to 10 seconds remaining. This will be white flag lap for the leaders. If you are a lap down behind the leader, this will be your white flag lap as well. And anyone crossing the line in the next few seconds is also going to see the white flag. As it looks like this battle has sort of ebbed itself out. This is about a second due to that lap car. As Devin Sturdivant makes a pass on Randy Gross, it looks like Randy Gross has had an incident. We're going to see what happened there. Just outbreaks himself into the grass, manages to keep it out the wall. Watch the rejoins, and yep, looks like it's pretty clean and clear. We're going to go back live with Matthew Oglev just ahead. Actually, we're going to go to the leader as they run down through the Patriot S's, and it looks like that may be a incident in the back with one of the lapped cars. Potentially Colin Smith. Yeah, it was Colin Smith going into the wall there in the background. About 0.8 of a second separate the leaders here as they run down through the downhill roller coaster for the final time this race. One lap car still ahead of Kyle Genski in this run up to the finish line, but it should be nothing doing as it is a straight. And we're going to see the checkered flag here in this run up. He slots in behind ball and just give himself that little bit of extra top end down to the line, and Genski, he's going to take the win from Jace Wright. Zaki Sheik coming in P3 with Davin Sturdivant 13 seconds behind with a massive train behind him. Davin Sturdivant P4, Matthew Oglev P5, Randy Gross is going to come across in P6, Jeff Franks is going to come next in P7. Followed by Sam Warden, 0.3 of a second behind. Dave G. Thompson's going to bring up 9th, and to round out your top 10, it's going to be Eric Gukazian. And I apologize, Eric. I am terrible at pronouncing your last name. Please don't fire me. As we watch the last couple cars on their run down to the start-finish line here, that's going to be race over. Here's your race 1 top 10. As we said, Genski, Wright, Sheik, Sturdivant, Oglev, Gross, Franks, Warden, Thompson, and Eric. We're going to go into our warm-up for our second race as I take a break to grab a drink, and we see what we have coming up in the current week and beyond for Trackalicious Sim Racing. Welcome back to Virginia International Raceway as we come down to the winding bits of our warm-up here for race 2. That was a thrilling race 1, especially there at the end as all those battles started to come together. It was interesting to see just how different you can set these MX-5s up despite being the same car. And again, thank you for joining us here at Trackalicious on this Sunday evening, Sunday night, or Sunday morning, depending where you are in the world here today. It means a lot. It really keeps us going. It keeps the drivers going. And we hope to continue to foster a community here at Trackalicious, and anyone can feel happy racing win. All right. Looks like we have a minute for everyone to start gridding up here. I think the chat wants to see the start from Mr. Eric Gakazian's onboard. What do you guys say? As you can see, our starting grid running up through your screen now is going to be Kyle Genske and Jace Riot on row 1, Zachy Sheik and Devin Sturdivant row 2, Ogoliv and Gross row 3, Jeff Franks, Sam Warden row 4, Dave G. Thompson, Eric row 5, Tyler Smith, Kevin Bolland in row 6, Tom Salmon, Colin Smith row 7, and Daniel Desjardins bringing up the finale of the cars. As we go green in the run-up here towards turn 1, you can see jockeying for position here as I kill our grid walk because it's behind. All right, running up through first sector, as you can see just how frantic these spec race starts can be. Everyone jockeying for position, trying to get that a little bit. Eric makes a small correction as he starts to lose the rear end braking. Looks like Tom Salmon has gotten taken by a few cars here off the start as they run through sector 1. And as you would have expected, we're going to move on to the front here as Jace Wright and Kyle Genske have reignited their feud from the last race, heading up through the Patriot section of the course. It'll be interesting to see if their battling is going to keep them in time with the rest of the pack, or if they're going to pull away despite that disadvantage being side by side at times. Looks like Zachy Sheik is also trying to get in on this action for the lead as he brings himself closer and closer over sector 2. And Matthew Ogoliv goes wide in the final corner of the circuit, manages to recover fairly well. Looks like he's going to continue on. Heading down into turns 1 and 2 here, we've seen a lot of action here over the course of the last race and the start of this one as Matthew Ogoliv continues to bleed positions, getting forced out wide through turn 1 by Daniel Desjardins. And it looks like Tom Salmon's going to try to make a run on him as well. Tom Salmon wasn't quite able to get up to him in that turn 1 and 2 complex, as it looks like Matthew Ogoliv is not going to take that position loss lightly. He starts to close up behind Daniel Desjardins through turn 3 and 4 and continues to gain as they head on into the S's. As we move forward to Sam Warden battling Randy Gross heading into the Patriot section of the circuit as they go under the Michelin Bridge. Heading uphill in through the Patriot S's as he gains a little bit, but it's not quite going to be enough to get alongside here for the exit down into the roller coaster. Looks like Eric has made up 2 positions since his start as he battles Tyler Smith with a brand new Ohio Against the World car, not carrying any of that front end damage that we saw in the previous race. As it looks like Jace Wright and Kyle Genske are once again battling here at the front. Down to 1/10, as it looks like they're going to mirror what we saw here in race 1 as Jace Wright tries to make the outside move work. We'll see if he manages to cut into that apex in the second portion of this complex. Doesn't quite make that move work despite being better on the brakes over the past race, so it's interesting to see if maybe that damage that Kyle Genske was carrying at the front of his car in the last race is actually benefiting him in some way. As this 3-way battle for the lead continues down as they enter the S's here. Probably going to be single file here as it's early in the race. You don't want to throw it all away 5 minutes in. We'll go back to Eric and Daniel Desjardins as they battle, and they have a train forming behind them, including Tom Salmon and Matthew Ogilvie, both of which are going to be raring to come back through the field here. That's Zachy Chic. Not Fan Chic. And we have another 3-car battle starting to form here for P5 between Randy Gross, Jeff Franks, and Sam Warden as they head down through the roller coaster. Very easy to identify cars here as you have a neon green and purple, a muted blue and pink, and a Sunoco-themed car running down nose to tail here. Daniel Desjardins has closed that gap to Eric, and he starts to put his nose in to go side by side on the run up to turn 1 as they come across the start finish grid here with 15 minutes remaining. They both hit their marks, and Eric's may be able to close the door. Not quite. As Daniel Desjardins pushes his nose alongside, gets a little loose coming on the exit. It looks like he's going to lose the place to Tom Salmon. Like I said last race, being in the middle of a 3-car battle is one of the most difficult positions you can be on track, as you have to both attack and defend simultaneously. And it's a skill that takes time and a lot of it to develop. As now he's under attack by Matthew Ogilvie, but he gets a little loose and loses out about a second from the car ahead, and that puts him into the clutches of Colin Smith as they head up into the S's. As they are side by side ahead between Daniel Desjardins and Eric, and it looks like Eric's going to lose that position in the run up to the Patriot entrance. And it looks like that's all sorted out for now. They're going to be nose to tail through this sector. We're going to hop on board with that battle for first, as it's been non-stop action since we started. Genske still defending from Jace Wright as they come down through the roller coaster and start to set themselves up for the run down the start-finish straight. And we can't discount Zachy Chic as he's still there. He's still within a second, so he's going to be getting the slipstream from these Miatas here down the straight. Jace Wright showing the nose to the outside. He's going to try this move again. We'll see if he's able to get the run out into that second apex that he's been searching for all race. As it looks like Kyle Genske is going to defend a little bit, doesn't quite get that door shut, so Jace Wright's nose gets in there and he has to give him the room as they start to run up to turns 3 and 4, some of the tighter corners on the circuit. Still side by side at turn in, and it looks like Jace Wright's going to cede that position once more as we remain business as usual here at the front. As we go back with Sam Warden and Randy Gross getting very close together, with Jeff Franks coming up right behind them. This is that same battle we saw last lap, and it looks like it's shuffled positions pretty significantly. Looks like Eric's starting to fall into the clutch of Matthew Ogilvie as he goes wide coming into the S's. That's going to cost him at least one position. We'll see if Colin Smith is able to make the second one. Runs up on him. Eric's in the middle of the track, though, so he has to check out. There's not room for him to go, but he still gets that run coming out of the S's in the entrance to the Patriot circuit. We'll see if he's able to break him, and no, he backs out of it. Eric maintains P12 as they run through the S's at the top of the hill. And once again, back on board with Jace Wright and Kyle Genske as they continue to battle through the technical parts of the circuit, heading down to the final corner and onto the start-finish straight. We'll see if he's able to get that nose alongside to the outside once again and have a repeat attack, as we've seen in the past 2 laps. And their battling has brought Zachy Sheik ever closer, down to 4/10 behind Jace Wright. So now he's going to have to start watching his mirrors as well as what's going on ahead of him. Doesn't quite get alongside, just follows him through turn 1, gets the nose in for the second apex. Not quite, but he gets a significantly better runoff as they start to run down towards turns 3 and 4 once more. Loses out a little bit as it looks like he was in fear of running wide, catches the curb a little bit, rotates the car, and checks up behind Kyle Genske. As we've had a pass from Matthew Ogliv on Daniel Desjardins going down through the turn 1-2 complex, and it looks like Desjardins gonna try to attack back, but doesn't quite make it alongside before the turn-in point. Loses about half a second with that failed attack as they start to sort themselves out to go through the technical S's here in the run-up towards the Patriot Circuit. Dave Thompson has been coming closer to this battle as well, as Colin Smith and Eric Gukasian have been starting to battle, pushing on through the first half of this race. Sam Warden's closing up on Randy Gross once more. We're down to 0.8 of a second as they come down through the roller coaster. And it looks like Jeff Franks has started to lose out just that slight bit over the last couple laps. I wonder if he's carrying damage. And it looks like we have lost one car to retirement. He may not have even taken the grid, as Kevin Bolland has taken his MX-5 to the garage and started to pack up for the night. We are back on board with the lead battle as Jace Wright goes around the outside of Kyle Genske. Doesn't quite make it the whole way around, though, as he backs out of it. Starts to lose ground to Zachy Sheik as they continue to battle down through the middle portion of this race. And it's still the same order as it has been since the start. But you can tell that Jace Wright is starting to get racier and racier as this event continues. It definitely feels like Kyle's starting to hold him up here and fall as he falls into the clutches of Zachy Sheik behind. As it looks like Randy Gross gets passed by Sam Warden as he's off track in the S's. He may have gotten a track cut penalty for that, as he did not make the circuit for the second apex there. As it looks, if he does, that's going to bring Jeff Franks right back into the picture here for the battle for fourth. It looks like we have a battle for 12th continuing to evolve as Eric defends from Colin Smith and Dave Thompson catching up significantly over the last lap as they head up through the Patriot Circuit. Back on board with the leaders as it looks like it's starting to spread out a little bit as we catch Jace Wright going a little bit wide coming out of the final corner. That's going to injure his exit speed here, so he may fall into the clutches of Zachy Sheik heading into turns 1 and 2. As we continue to see little mistakes here as Eric Gukasian loses the rear and spins out across the track. Let's go ahead and see what happened there. Looks like he runs wide, gets a little too hard on the accelerator, and the weight tries to transfer out to the outside on him, and he just overcorrects and spins out into the field there on the left side of the start-finish line. No injury, maybe just to his ego. His car is fine. He's going to continue. As we hop back live with car number 55, Randy Gross, battling for P5 with Sam Warden and Jeff Franks. As it looks like Jeff Franks is trying to set up a move into the Patriot section, but he backs out of it thinking better, not quite getting the braking performance he was expecting out of his not alone MX-5 today, as he follows him through the Patriot S's. We're going to move backwards in the field to the battle for P9 between Tom Salmon and Matthew Ogoliv as they chase each other up the hill through the Patriot section of the circuit, as that heat haze starts to build and grow as the track heats up today. follows him through the technical bits of Sector 2 and starts to follow him through Sector 3 as well. We'll see if he manages to set anything up, but running wide like that through the middle of the most technical part of the circuit is not going to help your chances here in the waning parts of this race. I say that, but he gets a phenomenal run coming out of the final corner and pushes it alongside heading into the run up to the start-finish line. Will he get this move done before the braking zone of turn 1, or will he have to succeed that inside to allow space for the car number 11 of Tom Salmon to defend here? Looks like he gets fully ahead, cuts in, and that's going to be job done for Matthew Oglive into P9, pushing Tom Salmon backwards into the clutches of Daniel Desjardins. Daniel Desjardins has been quick tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to set something up here on Tom Salmon over the next couple laps. As it goes a little wide here, Daniel Desjardins gets alongside through the S's, almost contact. He's still side by side, has to give him the room. Side by side, running up to the Michelin bridge, going into the Patriot section, has the nose ahead at turn in, and it looks like Tom Salmon's going to back out and cede that position as they enter the technical S's at the top of the hill in the Patriot section of Virginia International Raceway. We go back on board with the car in second, Jace Wright. We will actually go fully on board as we watch this battle in this run up towards Sector 1 and 2, so you can really get a sense of how the acceleration and the braking dynamics are evolving within this battle here. He's able to brake significantly later and significantly harder than Kyle Genske, but does have to check up as he has nowhere to go with that rear starting to get unsettled as you see him working that wheel to keep the car under control. As they head down into turns 3 and 4, once again having to check up with nowhere to go, and backs out of it, loses a couple tenths there to Zaki Sheik coming up just behind. Looks like Daniel Desjardins and Tom Salmon are coming back at each other. Coming up into 3 and 4, heading into the S's. And they both go wide, sacrificing a little bit of acceleration there to keep the rear in check. Running up through the S's, nose to tail here. We'll see if he's able to get alongside in the entry to Patriot. And there's a accident. We're going to go to replay. That looks like it's Tyler Smith. It looks like he may have had a wheel failure, a hardware failure of some sort, as he just kind of drifts into the wall and ends up facing forward in the middle of the road, but most likely will have to tow as a result of that damage. As we're back on board the battle for 5th with Sam Warden, Randy Gross, and Jeff Franks. They are all within a few tenths of a second of each other as they run down towards the line. And it looks like Randy Gross and Jeff Franks have both gotten phenomenal runs on each other. We'll see if it's enough to sort of challenge Sam Warden into turn 1. He takes a look. He sets up for it. Is he going to make the lunge? Not quite. He has to back out of it, causing Jeff Franks to check up to avoid the contact there, as they are scuffling like crazy with 3 minutes to go. Jace Wright catching back up to Kyle Genske once more through sectors 1 and 2 as they continue to battle away. Zaki Sheik starting to fall back a little bit. He's lost about 1 second and 2 tenths here over the last lap. I don't see anything in my incident viewer, so this may just be tactical. Maybe he's expecting them to battle each other a little bit too hard and go over that edge. You never know. It'll be interesting to see how this evolves in the last couple of laps here as we start to wane down our activities here on track on this Sunday night. Tom Salmon catching back up to Daniel Desjardins, heading down into Patriot, is looking to send it. Kind of a half-hearted move, backs out of it. Probably the smart thing to do there with if you don't fully commit that late. This is our closest battle on track right now, as it's been waning and ebbing and catching back up over the course of laps. As Tom Salmon goes a little bit wide as he starts to head down the roller coaster, that's going to open up an opportunity for Daniel Desjardins to pull away here, heading down to the start-finish line. Sam Warden has lost significant time to Randy Gross here in P6 as it's 1/10, as he's looking to go alongside once more. Does get the nose in this time, and it looks like the number 1 car of Sam Warden's going to let him have it, putting him under fire from Jeff Franks, who looks to go to the outside, which will transition to the inside for the next couple corners. This may be a 2-for-1 in terms of loss here for Tom Salmon. Or for Matthew Ogilvie, rather. No, Sam Warden. I'm sorry. My brain. Down to Jardin's caught Tom Salmon as they go side by side down here through turns 3 and 4. Continue to go alongside. Looks like Tom Salmon goes that little bit wide, loses out significantly. He's going to be about a second behind down Desjardins as they head up into the S's. Jeff Franks is within 1/10 of Sam Warden as they look to go inside. Backs out of it once more as this battle continues to coalesce. Jace Wright is 2/10 away from the leader, heading down the roller coaster as it looks like they'll be coming up to the line for the final time. We'll be starting our white flag lap as they come across the line. Two-tenths as they run down. He catches the grass a little bit. That's not what you want to be doing. Looks like he gets a little bit loose due to that. He's just following him. He's going to try to break as late as he can to get this move done on the final lap of our race here tonight. Backs out a little bit, tries to get the cut back, but it looks like Kyle's going to be able to park his car exactly where he needs to keep Jace right behind through this Sector 1 complex. Continuing to battle up into the S's, still nose to tail, about 2 to 3 tenths between the two. We do have some other battles going on through the field, however, I don't want to cut away from this because as soon as I do, there's going to be a change for the lead. As it looks like Jace Wright looks inside, he pinches him, they may be contact as he forces him out to the outside, and it looks like they're still going to be side by side coming down through the Patriot S's. As our checker flag is waving, so when these leaders cross the line, everyone that crosses behind them is going to be done for the evening. There's still nose to tail coming onto the Grand Prix Sector 3. Looks to send, maybe not, backs out of it, coming down through the roller coaster, trying to set up for that run to the line. We have seen Kyle Genski's car be significantly faster in the straight line tonight, so he may have better gearing than the car of Jace Wright. As they run down to the final corner, start to run towards the line. Jace Wright following Kyle Genski to the inside as he defends as hard as he can. And it looks like he's not quite going to get there as he loses time in the acceleration zone. And it's going to be Kyle Genski from Jace Wright to first and second, followed by Zachy Sheik in P3. Davin Sturdivant going to come home in at P4, followed by Randy Gross and Jeff Franks, who are battling to the line. It'll be interesting to see if Jeff Franks is able to put his nose to either side and maybe get him on the run up here. But it looks like he's not going to quite have enough, maybe a few hundred more meters than he would have made it. Sam Warden going to come in 7th. Matthew Ogilvie following up in 8th. And it looks like Daniel Desjardins and Tom Salmon are going to be side by side coming up to the run of the line. They're still side by side. It looks like Tom Salmon gets, they touch. Almost Tom Salmon. It looks like Tom Salmon and Daniel Desjardins are going to cross the line simultaneously. And it looks like Tom Salmon got the position at the line. Following Desjardins, we're going to have Colin Smith, Dave G. Thompson, and Eric to round out our field. Here's your top 10 for race 2. As we transition to the calendar, I will grab another drink, have a nice look at what we have coming up, and I will be back with you in the studio shortly. Welcome back to the Trackalicious studio today, everyone, as it looks like we have had a wonderful run of MX-5s tonight, as the sun has gone down, so my face is a little dark here. Looks like we do have Jan Roderick's here in the green room. We'll go ahead and pull him in as we're still waiting for our podium finishers to jump in. Hello, Jan. I see you wanted an interview. How was your race tonight?
Yeah, it was good. I'm just lucky on the stream, but yeah, no, it was fun watching Jace and Kyle go at it. Couldn't keep up with them on that second race. So.
Yeah, for sure. It was a really fun race to watch. There was battles all the way through the field. Anything you think you could have done different tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I was keeping contact with them for the first couple, I don't know, for the first half of the race, but I made a mistake in turn one and got a little wheel spin and then kind of lost contact once I lost draft. So unfortunate, but it's a good race overall. Yeah,
the MX-5s are all about momentum, especially here on a track that's as flowy and technical as Virginia International Raceway. Let's take a look here. Yeah. Will we be seeing you at Oulton Park next on the 8th?
Might not with the Super Bowl, but I'll try to make it.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. So I understand the Super Bowl is going to be playing a major part, as it looks like we have Jace Wright coming in the green. Is there anything else you want to say to the viewers at home before we wrap up here tonight?
No, thanks a lot for doing the stream. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for racing today. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. So I'm going to move you back, and I will bring Jace Wright in.
Have a good night.
You too. Mr. Jace Wright, we were following you that entire event, both race 1 and 2, some of the closest racing we've seen here on Trackalicious. How do you think it went? Anything you would have done different? I'd love to hear anything you'd like to tell us.
I think the races were fun. Definitely like some of the most fun racing I've done in a while. I don't know, as for doing different, I think I did pretty good considering the circumstances, like not driving MX-5s for a while before this. And I guess what I wish I'd done different was actually figure out how to take that last turn, because God, I couldn't hit it at all.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how that battle would ebb and flow under braking. It seems like you would catch up significantly, and then we would watch Mr. Sorry, I lost my sorry, brain fart. Anyway, we'd watch you sort of fall back there on the run up to the start finish line. Kyle, that's his name. I'm so sorry. That it was frantic on my end too. It was a lot to keep track of. My brain's a little fried. So, are we going to be seeing you next week at Oulton Park, or is the Super Bowl going to be playing a part in your plans as well?
Next week Sunday, possibly. I mean, because I'm only racing iRacing right now, because I got a month to do Daytona. Mm-hmm. Technically runs out on the 8th, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. I hope you find it in your heart to donate some of your hard-earned money to the Massachusetts economy here at iRacing, and continue to race with us. You've been giving us some enthralling racing this season.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Anything else you want to say to anyone watching, anyone else in the league, anyone in the series before we wrap up tonight and head over to find someone to donate our beautiful community to?
So, thanks to Eric for pointing me to this race when I was telling him about it. Telling him about driving iRacing. He was like, oh, you should do that MX-5 series. And obviously, thank you to you for commentating this race. I know commentating isn't the easiest job in the world.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I commentated. I just hope I was able to entertain everyone at home, and I was able to do good by the Trackalicious organization. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for putting on a phenomenal show tonight. Stay warm and have a good night.
You too.
All right. Thank you at home for tuning in here to our MX-5 extravaganza here at Virginia International Raceway. I don't know about you, my brain's fried. That was incredible to watch. We're going to head over to one of our viewers here tonight, MX-5 all day, for a raid. If you guys would stick around and sort of show him some love, show him some support. Hit us up on Discord. You can do !Discord here in our chat to get the link to that. We also have a SimGrid community that you can find all of our events hosted at there as well. We run events most days. In our off weeks, we run some pretty fun, like lesser known combinations that wouldn't normally make sense in a competitive setting, just for fun. So thank you all. Have a good night. Buckle your seatbelts. Stay warm.